Hello, Sharik. So let me just show you how, what are my findings so far, so that hopefully you can somehow see something in your scenario from a functional point of view. So I can just show you like what's happening from a technical point of view right now. So here is the scenario that you have shown to me. So I go to warehouse task, and I'm going to run this or confirm this WT in background. Okay, so what's going to happen is what you have shown to me, that we are going to get this pop-up window. So inside of ST22, inside of the runtime error list, we get this pop-up. We get the error. Okay, so here is what I have done, so that you see like what's going on. Okay, so the problem is something like the SAP is telling us that the asset condition was violated. Okay, so I will show you like in a few moments like what that actually is doing and what it means. But if I go to ABAP editor, especially on the place where we dumped, what I wanted to see like what's really happening inside of a debug mode, like what values we get here. Because assert statement, just to let you know like what is it doing, is that assert statement should like anything that is after this assert statement, this is actually the condition. SAP is asking if these two are equal. Okay, these two should be equal. If they are not equal, then SAP is throwing a dump. Okay, that's what's happening right now. So these two values are not going to be equal, and we need to find out in debug mode like what are the values in there, and somehow realize like why it's not equal. So that's going to be maybe your task on the functional side, like why it's not really equal. But let me also quickly show you this assert statement. I've just created a small quick program so that you understand like this assert statement, and I can just give you a rough understanding of why we as developers are using this assert statement, even though I'm not sure like why they have used it in this program that you need to analyze. But if you have assert statement and you have the condition, if 1 equals 1, in this case is going to be true because 1 is going to equal 1. Okay, Control F3 to activate this program, F8. Okay, so nothing is going to happen. Like this is more like a condition. Assert is asking if this condition is true. Okay, so 1 equals 1. Yes, is it true? Yes, it's true. But if we change it to 1 equals 0, it's going to ask if this condition is true as well. And in this case, it's not going to be true because 1 is not equal 0. So if I press F8 in this case, assert statement is going to give us the same runtime error. Assertion failed, and we get the same short text that assert condition was violated. Okay, so that's exactly the same thing. If I go back, F3, it's exactly the same what we see in your case, okay, in the case of the scenario that I'm trying to help you to debug. Okay, so let's go back to ABAP editor. Since this program is running in the background, here is the way how I entered a debug mode. So I go to display change, and by the way, okay, anyhow, I'm not going to overcomplicate that. So this is the part of the code that I have added to your code. Okay, so what it does is that if user under which I'm logged in, if this user is running the program, and I get on this place, I'm creating an endless cycle so that I can then I can enter a debug mode from a background and just check out like what are the values. If I would create a breakpoint, it's not going to help because programs running in the background, we are not able to stop in a debug mode. Okay, so that's not going to happen. So that's why we need to find a way how to enter a debug mode, and that's one of them. Okay, so this part of the code is not going to stop everyone in the background. So let's say you, under your user, if you would run this part of the code, you would not stop in that eternal loop just because of this condition. Okay, so it's only going to stop under the user that you gave me. All right, so I will activate this code. Okay, so there are some warnings. It's not related to this specific part of the code, but maybe it, okay, whatever. These are just the warnings, no errors, we can move on. So I'm going to open up the transaction, this one, where I will run the same scenario again. Let's do the confirmation. Okay, so now I confirmed that I want to run this transaction. As you can see, cursor is still it's still loading. So I am still processing this transaction. Even this loading icon is showing that to me. Okay, so now I need to get to debug mode and check out like what's going on. So I'm going to open up a new window. So let's wait until it opens up. Okay, there we go. And I go to transaction SM50, SM50. So this is a transaction that is containing or that is showing me what work processes are running on this system. So if I refresh, I see that I'm like this program is taking me some time. So actually that's the program where I do this eternal loop. Okay, so what I can do right now, that's my program running under my user. Let's go to administration, program, debugging. Okay, SAP is going to ask me in a pop-up window whether I want to enter a debug mode. I say yes. And I'm going to stop in a debug mode. So let's wait for a few moments. Yeah. Here we are. Okay, so now I'm inside of a debug mode. Okay, so if I want to exit this endless cycle, I'm going to change GB exit variable to X. Hit enter. Because the condition is set in the following way that if GB exit is something different than X, still it's going to be doing that endless do cycle. If I change it to X, suddenly I will be able to exit this do cycle just by pressing F5. But what is important, more important right now, was because I wanted to get to this part just to see what are the values in unit W on this side and on this side. Okay, so I'm going to double click. So let's wait because server is doing something, it's still loading. Okay, and I got kicked off, so let's hit yes. Okay, so I lost the connection somehow, so I need to get back. Okay, so there we go. I'm back in a debug mode, so let's change the GB exit to X so that we can exit this endless do cycle. Enter F5, F5. Okay, so and we get on assert statement. So let's take a look on the values of unit W on LSCAPA. It's kilograms, and unit W in this field symbol is empty. So reason why we are going to enter a dump or runtime error is because these two are not equal. Okay, so not sure like what's happening from a point of view, from a functional point of view, like you know the scenario better than me, but maybe what also helps is that the weight, let's just double check like what's the weight. Let me double click once again, or if it's not going to, okay, so it's 1000, and weight in this field symbol is also empty. Okay, so it's 0. So this calculation will be 1000 in the end, but not sure if you recognize any patterns or anything. So kind of like that's what I can see right now, and hope it somehow helps.